you guys? Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to episode 5 of 314 We Out Here Sports Podcast. Before we start the clip today, I'm going to need all of you to go down, hit the subscribe button, follow, like, share with all your friends. Please follow our social medias, Instagram and TikTok, 314 We Out Here Sports Podcast. And in this episode today, it's just me. KP is out celebrating the holidays, but today I'm going to be going over our weekly NFL predictions that we had last week and for the NFL and for the college football national championship playoffs. So here we go. And again, please make sure to follow, subscribe, like the button, comment down below, and we will communicate with all of you. So, last week, me and Cannon, we had a toss-up. It was pretty close. It was a one-game difference, but Cannon, he did take the win last week in the predictions by one game. So, last week, he went 9-6. I went 8-7, so it was a very close. It came down to the last second. The Chargers game is what really made a difference for both of us. But last week, Cannon went 9-6. I went 8-7. And college football, I went 2-0 for the national championship playoff predictions. KP, he went 1-1. He predicted a Georgia-Michigan title game, and I predicted a Georgia-TCU. And my underdog Cinderella story came true with TCU. I was watching the game yesterday, and it actually turned out perfect. I think, honestly, that is one of the best national championship playoff games we've ever had. And I've got to say that TCU, I think they've got a special team going. I think Georgia, offensively, they did great. Stetson Bennett, the fourth, he had an amazing game yesterday. They were spreading the ball. Give credits to C.J. Stroud and the Ohio State Buccaneers. They had a great game. But Georgia, they just came up clutch at the right time, right moment. Their kicker, oh boy, for Ohio State, he sold. But I think TCU, they are on the right path. I think Georgia and TCU, this is going to be one of the best national championships games we will ever have. So, KP, he went 1-1. He had a Georgia-Michigan title prediction, but unfortunately, Michigan lost yesterday to TCU, and so he went 1-1. I went 2-0. TCU upset against Michigan, and Georgia winning last night, a slight last-second win over Ohio State. I went 2-0, so I predict a Georgia-TCU championship game, which I was correct, and it will happen. And I predict a Georgia win, 41-38. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. A few picks here and there, a few mistakes, but I think Georgia may just slim out with it. Keep in mind that Kirby Smart is a defensive-minded coach, so I think after last night, after his interview, he said that was probably one of the worst performances he's seen in a while from his team overall on the defensive side. He wasn't mad about the offense, but I think that with him and being a defensive-minded coach and understanding what TCU can do, I think they're going to prepare perfectly fine for that. But I think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game, 41-38. But that is going to wrap up the college football playoffs. There was a few great bowl games yesterday. Bryce Young and the Alabama Crimson Tide, they beat Kansas State. Big whip in the butt for Roll Tide. Personally, I think it was a great bowl game, and it was a real mindsetter. Bryce Young threw for 5 touchdown passes. He threw for, I believe it was 300+. I'm not sure. I'll have to go check back later. But he had a great game. Great way to end his career at Alabama. I'm not sure if he's going to come back, but I think he will maybe consider going to the draft. I think after the way he just ended it out, I think that's a great idea to do. I think he had a great career at Alabama. I think it was a great bowl game yesterday. Alabama Crimson Tide going with another win and adding another trophy to Nick Saban's trophy case. So the big topic of the day is we're going to be talking about our Week 17 NFL picks. So far, this video is I am actually recording on a game day on Sunday, but we are going to keep uploading for you guys because that is what we promised. So far, currently this week, Pat Cannon, he is 8-5, and I am currently 7-6. It is, again, it's a real tiebreaker here. It's real close. It's going to come down to the last second probably this week. But, so, here's how it went. So, we got the Jags-Texans. Pat predicted that the Jags would win. He was correct. The Jags had a blowout win today against the Texans. The Jets-Seahawks. The Seahawks, they pulled away with a win there, so Pat won that. Steelers-Ravens, that is tonight. So he predicted that. Cardinals-Falcons. I believe that the Falcons pulled away, 20-19 today. So he predicted that correctly. Bears-Lions. The Lions absolutely destroyed the Bears today. It was not even really a good game to even watch. It was such a blowout. Colts-Giants. Giants secured a playoff spot with that huge win today they had against the Colts. It was a pretty good game to watch. I think Daniel Jones and the Giants I think they're going to be a pretty decent threat in the playoffs, but it was a great game to watch between them. Let's see. We have the Saints and Eagles. What an upset today from the Saints. I think the Eagles, a lot of people said that any quarterback can play in the Eagles and they will succeed. Well, Gardner Minshew, he had one touchdown today. I think he threw for like 200 plus yards. I think he had a decent day, but I just don't believe in that. I think Hurts is just that kind of quarterback that fits that team perfectly. I don't believe that what people say is true about any quarterback can play on that team, but Saints pulled up a huge upset against the Eagles today. Panthers, Bucks, the Buccaneers. Pat chose the Panthers. The Buccaneers pulled off a win today. They won the NFC South and they secured a playoff spot. Browns, Commanders. Pat chose the Commanders, and the Browns pulled off a upsetting win against the Commanders, and they kicked the Commanders out of the playoffs now that Green Bay has won. 49ers, Raiders. The 49ers just won in OT against the Raiders. Brock Purdy wins his fifth straight game, I believe, and he's the only quarterback out of 5 in the past long time ago. Ben Roethlisberger was the only other quarterback since Brock Purdy to win in his rookie year 5 games in a row. Roethlisberger actually won 13 in a row, so that is something that is actually good for Brock Purdy, and I believe that the 49ers will actually be a big playoff contention team and possibly could slip into that 1 seed. We got to see. This last week of football is going to determine a lot of things, especially for some big-time teams. The Vikings, Packers. The Vikings just got really embarrassed against the Packers. That defense of the Vikings is not too impressive. Packers, they're looking like a pretty good team. They could, if they went out next week, they could slip into the playoffs. So Packers pull up a huge upset, even though they were favored against the Vikings today, but they won. Rams, Chargers. Pat chose the Chargers. That was a pretty good game today. The Chargers pulled away with a win. And the Bills and the Bengals. Pat predicts, this is Monday night, so tomorrow night, Pat predicts the Bills will win. So far, he is currently 8-5. That is what he said. Here's what I chose. So I chose Jags-Texans. I had the Jags winning that game. The Texans are just rebuilding. Lovey's getting tested to see if he's going to be the new head coach next year. So the Jags, they win that game. The Jets-Seahawks. I chose the Seahawks to win. The Seahawks pulled away with the W today. Steelers-Ravens tonight at 7 o'clock. I predict the Steelers are going to win. They're trying to play for a playoff spot right now. They're in the hunt. They have a small chance, but if they upset the Ravens tonight, who are still missing Lamar Jackson and have Tyler Huntley at quarterback, I think they've got a decent shot. They got TJ Watt. Their defense is pretty healthy again. Let's see. Cards, Falcons. I predicted the Cardinals to win. Unfortunately, they lost today to the Falcons, 20-19. The Bears, Lions. I predicted the Lions would win. It was a really big blowout game, and that went into the Lions' favor. They have a shot at the playoffs as well. The Dolphins, Pats. I predicted the Dolphins to win, but, Bill Belichick, being a defensive-minded coach himself, he was able to pull off an upset against the Dolphins today. Both teams having a 500 record of 8-8. One team possibly gunning for that playoff spot. NFC East is still AFC East. There's still some competition left. If the Patriots win next week against Buffalo, they secure a playoff spot, so that's going to be a good game to watch next week. Most you guys should go tune in on that game. That could be a huge deciding playoff factor next year technically this year since it's 2023. And also, Happy New Year, you guys. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the video, but Happy New Year. Let's see, where were we? Colts, Giants. So I predicted the Colts. That did not go in my favor. I thought they would maybe pull off an upset today against the Giants. That really backfired badly. That did not go my way. Let's see. We had the Saints-Eagles. Like I said earlier, me and Pat, we both predicted the Eagles to win. We thought Gardner Minshew would be able to get the job done against the Saints, but nope. The Saints pulled off an upset today. Really embarrassing win against the Eagles. A very embarrassing thing for Eagles fans, since today, if they won, they secured that 1 seed. Panthers, Bucks. I predicted the Panthers to pull off an upset against the Bucks to get a shot at the playoffs, but they lose. Tom Brady wins the division of the NFC South, and they are going to the playoffs as they are the 1 seed, as they won their division this year. The Browns, Commanders. I chose the Commanders to win with the Browns with an upset against the Commanders, which kicked them out of the playoffs this year. If you're a Commanders fan, I am really sorry, but that is just a tough loss. 49ers, Raiders. This was a great game to watch. I actually was just watching it a second ago, right before I started recording this video, but I had the 49ers pulling off a win against the Raiders. So did Pat. We both did good on that one. They had a great overtime win. And by the way, I think the Raiders QB that played today, I completely forgot his name, but I thought he had a hell of a day. I think both him and Brock Purdy are going to be some good QBs to watch next year. I think if that Raiders team can rebuild and that QB can figure some stuff out, I think they could be a little tough next year, maybe. But, what happened this year did not live up to the hype. The AFC West, the Chiefs took it all over, like always, and it always should be. The Vikings, Packers. The Packers, they just pulled off a hell of an upset, and I predicted the Packers upset the Vikings, considering The Vikings defense, it is not that good. And then Jay Jettas, he did not have a good day at all either as well. Kirk Cousins, I believe he had 2 interceptions, I think. It was something like that. He did not have a good day. The Rams-Chargers, I predicted the Chargers to win. That went good in my favor. And then finally, the Bills-Bengals. So I choose the Bengals, and the reason is because if the Bengals win and they upset the Bills at home in Cincinnati, that slips Kansas City into the 1 seed. Currently, Kansas City is the 1 seed right now because the Monday night game has not taken place. So right now, Kansas City is the 1 seed. But until tomorrow, if the Bengals upset the Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs are back in the 1 seed spot, and the Bengals will slip to 2. The Bills will drop to 3. The Bills will have a first field home advantage in the AFC wild card. It depends. It all's going to depend on the next week. But if the Bengals win and they upset, which I'm really hoping, can't believe I say it because I hate both of those teams with a passion, the Chiefs would be the 1 seed. And I chose my Chiefs to upset the Broncos today, to win against the Broncos. It was a pretty good game defensively. They made some good stops when they needed to. The Chiefs, the offense was pretty electric in the first half. It was working. They were getting some points. It was a little low-scoring half, but I think the third quarter, it was rough for both teams. I think Denver started to spread the ball out and find a rhythm against the Chiefs defense, who is very young, and they are struggling to find a rhythm, but they've managed to stop the Broncos today when they needed to. And Patrick Mahomes, fourth quarter magic. Mahomes, he figured out how to go. And today, congratulations to Patrick Mahomes. He had his second 5,000-yard-plus season. He's a great one. And I think today, after that, he secured that MVP spot. Threw for 3 touchdowns. He had 1 interception. He threw for, I believe it was 310 yards. He passed 500. Past 5,000 yards. He threw a touchdown to Blake Bell. He threw 2 to Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon, he has 8 touchdowns. 5 games in a row he's had a passing touchdown, and he currently has the most touchdowns in a row in the NFL. And he is the first running back since 1946, running back of the Lions, to have 8 passing touchdowns in a row, 5 games in a row. So that is actually something bright. I think that was a spark of his career, reignited him, and I think that was a great game that I watched today. You know, there's some stuff that they could clean up, Kansas City, as that is my team. Chiefs, I think they could clean a lot of stuff up on defense, but especially special teams. Special teams is what's really holding back the Chiefs. You know, Butker's struggling a little bit. Tommy Townsend's struggling with the holds. You know, they just got to find a rhythm because, you know, defense is managing to get some stops, but they're not at that level yet where they're going to stop teams like the Bills and the Bengals. It's just they're going to keep scoring to where Patrick's going to have to keep scoring. It's going to be a high-intensity, high-scoring game. And if the Chiefs can get some stops on defense and special teams can, you know, manage to stop, prevent these missed field goals, missed PATs, dropped punts, you know, I think it will actually be a really good I think they will have another shot at the Super Bowl. I really do. And I think if they get that 1 seed spot this year, it'll really help them, considering that this year's playoffs is going to be a fight to the end. It's going to be a blood battle like that we all predicted last year it would be. But everybody doubted the Chiefs that they would not be in the situation that they're in right now. 13-3, shot to win back the 1 seed once again. But that is it for this video, you guys. Week 17, it's going pretty good. We got a few games left. 7 p.m. game is going to be on here in about 10 minutes. We got Monday night. It's going to be a great game to watch. Make sure you guys go watch that game, especially you Chiefs, Bengals, or Bills fans. That's a hell of a game to watch tomorrow. It's a big deciding factor for the AFC playoff picture. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Follow all our social medias at We Out Here 314 Podcast. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace out.